Hello everyone, welcome to Manic Gathering Strat. I'm Binkabi and this will be an update to deck tech, I guess, for my control deck in Standard. So I've already posted a series of videos with Esper Control, and this is the same deck, but I have modified it quite a bit since that series. Basically, it all depends on how the metagame looks, and you can't just take a list off the internet from a Pro Tour, run it, and just understand why the cards are there and why cards are missing from the list. So that's why you have to test it out for yourself. So a couple of changes. I've shaved some of the white stuff. The only thing that remains in the main is 1 Utter End and 3 Dragonlord Oyotai. The thing with Utter End is that it's a splendid catch-all that's just really good, and it doesn't cost me that much to run it. I would run the temples anyway. I've shaved them down a bit, and we still have the caves, so we still have plenty of white mana to work with. So I think that's okay. The Dragonlord Oyotai will be in the deck a while longer. I think they are just one of the best win conditions you can have right now, and they're still easily splashable. Even though I removed two white lands, I added 2 Haven of the Spirit Dragon, which gives me a better matchup against any control mirror or grindy matchup. And since they produce a colored mana for dragons, they don't really cost me that much. And believe it or not, even though I'm like the only person in my town playing control all the time, that's why I rarely prepare for the mirror. People in other cities and on Magic Online do, so I need to adjust accordingly. Haven of the Spirit Dragon has performed very well for me, and I'm pleased with 2 copies in the deck. I've also added 1 Dragonlord Silumgar to the main, and that's mainly because it's good to have diversity in the deck. If they're trying to calculate what you can have, maybe they're like, okay, I can play my, I don't know, Sorin or whatever, and if he has a counterspell, that's fine. Then I play Butcher of the Horde or something, and they play Sorin, and then you can be like, okay, it resolves, and they're like, yes, play Butcher, kill that, untap, play Dragonlord Silumgar, and they don't see that coming, so they lose the Sorin. Well, they get like a vampire or whatever, but that's one of the good things with him. He's flexible and does things that other cards cannot. He's pretty irreplaceable at what he's doing. I've also added an Ashok to the main. I just love Ashok. I've loved him all the time. He's been in Standard. I've played him in Modern. He's cheap enough to get under most things. Now with Silumgar Scorn, that's not entirely true, but to be fair, in the control mirror, you do not play untapped lands just because you want to keep Silumgar Scorn up turn 2. It's pretty costly actually, so I'm not sure. I still think he's very good. I cut the Narsets from the deck completely. I found them to be very lackluster and win more a lot of the time. In some matchups they're fantastic. They destroy a bunch of cards, and the ultimate is just you win the game. But I don't think it's worth having it. It doesn't help you with the matchups where you need help, so that's why I cut it. What else? I've added an ultimate price to the main, cut down on a Hero's Downfall. Not that Hero's Downfall is bad, but it's double black, and sometimes you need to have 2 mana spells. I think that's all the changes to the main, basically. Yeah, 2 Narsets for Ashok and Dragonlord Silumgar, and the 2 lands, ultimate price for Downfall. Yeah, I think that was all for the main. Ugin is still fantastic, and he is the deck's catch-all, but I really feel like it's worth having one extra that you can use earlier and that doesn't put Ugin into harm's way. And to be frank, sometimes you're just dead when you can cast Ugin. So for the sideboard, I've made a couple of changes since last time. I wonder if we can sort them like this. Whatever. I've added one Dragonlord Silumgar to the board. The thing is that Silumgar the Drifting Death is pretty poor most of the time. Against certain decks it's fantastic, but that's why I have Virulent Plague instead, because it's just faster and better and more reliable. And I don't think I need more of the Drifting Death, so that's why I have another Silumgar instead. One more Ashiok for control mirrors and stuff like that. Really like him. The rest is also for control mirrors and burn and stuff like that. Overall, I've adjusted the deck to be pretty good against mid-range and aggro in the main, and a lot better against control post board, but still having like the Drowning Sorrows and Virulent Plagues against tokens and aggro. Negate, pretty self-explanatory. 2 Stratus Dancers. I thought the card looked amazing when I first saw it, and I still think it's pretty amazing because, as I said, in a control mirror you don't keep in like Bile Blights, Ultimate Price can't hit it, and you take that out as well. So your removal suit is Downfall, Faulting Invocation, and maybe Crooks. So the only thing that stops this on if you're on the play is Silumgar Scorn. And as I said, it's not that likely that your opponent will have that up. And if you can land a Stratus Dancer, that's just really good for you. It's a clock, it's a negate on legs, or it's a dispel on legs, but no, not even dispel. It counts an instant or sorcery, whatever. That can't be countered, and if they think that it's worth untapping, play an untapped land and downfall it, then you get to do whatever you want on 4 mana, which could include an Ashiok plus Duress or what have you. You get to take charge of the match in a pretty commanding fashion, which is very good. So that's basically the changes. I've been pleased with Virulent Plague. It's pretty dorky, but it does exactly what you need it to do. And it also means that you're not that forced to have Bile Blight. Previous decks I've played has always included 4 Bile Blights because you pretty much have to. That's your only means of defense against Hordling outbursts and stuff. But complementing them with 3 Drowning Sorrows is good, but now you have Virulent Plague too, and then you don't really have to keep Bile Blight as often as you had to before. And the token decks now run Goblin tokens, Soldier tokens, and Warrior tokens, so they have lost some power there as well. So I think that's it. Let's go over to the matches and see if we can rack up some boosters. And just to be a bit self promoting here, but I've been playing some Standard the last couple of evenings, and well, you can take the number of Dragons of Trakeer boosters I have as a hint of my results. So let's go to matches and see how those will pan out. See you there.